California ends some pollution rules due to Trump's inauguration. Now, we knew there'd be some last-minute rules they were just going to toss in there, but it looks like California might actually be fearing President Trump, which could be a good thing for all drivers. California's clean air regulators withdrew requests from the Biden administration to set tougher pollution rules in the state for heavy-duty trucks, locomotives, and ocean-going ships that would likely be denied under President Donald Trump. They wanted them to be all electric, which makes no sense. The requested waivers would have authorized California Air Resources Board to set pollution limits that are more stringent than federal standards, a power that the state has long held for decades underneath the old federal law. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency had not yet acted on these applications, and the new incoming person is supposedly Lee Zeldin, but either way, it looks like they're going to deny these applications. But before we dig into it just a little deeper, I want to remind you to like this video and subscribe to this channel to keep up with what's going on in your automotive world. California stated that it has withdrawn its requests for a federal waiver to require commercial trucks to transition to zero-emission vehicles, electric trucks, which don't make any sense in the bigger picture. And that is preempting an expected denial from President Donald Trump and his administration. The withdrawal was among several pollution-fighting waivers requests that were held by the EPA that was dropped by the California Air Resources Board as soon as they knew President Trump was coming into office. CARB Chair Leanne Randolph said this in a statement, and quote, "The withdrawal is an important step given for the uncertainty presented by the incoming administration that previously attacked the California's programs to protect public health and claim it has said will continue to oppose these programs." California's Advanced Clean Fleets rule aimed to set time limits for operators of trucks carrying everything from U.S. mail, U.S. Postal Service packages, to 40-foot containers of goods and cargo to switch to zero-emissions electric vehicles, and that just didn't make any sense. Now, there is some other options going on. We are seeing that Toyota is working with using methane, converting it to hydrogen. That has worked, but it's on a very limited basis. Now, California for decades has driven the U.S. toward less polluting vehicles. It's the only U.S. state with the power to request a waiver from the EPA to set its own more stringent vehicle emissions and regulations because it has struggled with some of the nation's worst air quality in the past. Now, other states have adopted this rules, 17 of them actually, and automakers sign on to avoid to have to produce different vehicles that only California would want. Like I've said before, no manufacturer is going to build vehicles for one state only, and it's also unconstitutional for one state to tell the other 49 how to run their state. And that could end up in the courts again. CARB's decision to withdraw the EPA waiver request from its clean truck rule is certain to resonate beyond California. Nearly a dozen other states, actually 17, including New York, New Jersey, Washington State, and many others have adopted the more aggressive trucking standards. Beyond that, truck makers are already subject to a separate California rule requiring them to sell more zero-emissions trucks, which people may be forced to buy, but they don't make any sense. Now, the Special Equipment Market Association, known as SEMA, represents more than 7,000 businesses nationwide in the automotive aftermarket industry, praising the announcement, saying California's plan would have crippled interstate commerce, which it would, by implementing harmful EV mandates on the trucking fleets. The California Trucking Association in 2023 legally challenged the truck regulation, which was slated to go into effect at the start of last year, and California put it on hold pending a waiver decision from the EPA. Among other things, it would have required seaport semi-truck operators to have zero emissions by 2035 due to the heavy impact of diesel truck pollution on people living near cargo corridors. Longer distance sleeper cabs would have been required to have zero emissions by 2042. Of course, they'd spend more time sleeping than actually driving because the batteries wouldn't be able to hold a charge for that long. CARB has also withdrawn its request for locomotion and refrigeration unit rules that it said would have sharply reduced emissions, but it would have impacted the entire country. The California agency is now assessing how to continue improving air quality and reducing harmful pollutants that contribute to the poor human health outcomes and worsen climate change, according to Randolph. In December 2024, the EPA approved California's landmark plan to end the sale of gasoline-only vehicles by 2035. We've covered that up here. The decision in final weeks of President Joe Biden's administration to set up a fight over the future of California's vehicle regulations Well, that's in play now, and Trump has vowed to rescind approvals granted by the EPA to California to require more EVs and tighter vehicle emission standards. We want to drive what we want to drive, not what the government is telling us to drive. Now, the next step should be to reverse the ban on gas and diesel-powered RVs and motorhomes and remove the constant over-testing and over-tax collection from its residents and from travelers, because California is not in charge of the other 49 states. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this, and check out our car review channel, Car Smarts. You can support me by buying me a cup of coffee, and if you want even more content, check out the links in the description. I'm Lauren Fix. Thank you so much for watching.